Hey girls, and welcome to Binge Free Bestie, the podcast where we ditch diets, break free from binge eating, and build a safe and empowered relationship with our bodies. I'm your host, Nicole. I'm a registered therapist and I totally get it. You see, binge eating woes and body image struggles are something I've been quite familiar with. Been there, done that, and guess what? I found my way to food freedom, and now I'm going to help you to do the same. This potty is going to be your go-to for real, evidence-based strategies from my therapy practice and from my own lived experience. So whether you're tired of that diet cycle, you're ready to ditch this shame spiral, or you just want to feel more confident in your own skin, then this is going to be the place for you. It's time to get real about food freedom, body acceptance, self-care, and building a life you truly love. Ready? Let's get into this, besties. Hey there, welcome back to Binge Free Bestie. This episode is called Can I Heal My Relationship with Food and Still Want to Lose Weight? That is a biggie, and I know that it is something on so many of your minds. It's something that's been happening in my DMs lately. I've just announced the doors to my online group coaching program, Break Up with Binge Eating, has opened, and a few women have been in touch to say like, hey, really like the idea of food freedom and intuitive eating, and it all sounds good, but can I still do your program if I want to lose weight? So that's what I'm going to talk about today. And so yeah, know that you're not alone, and if you really want to stop binge eating, but you also still have some weight loss goals, then this episode is absolutely for you, because let's be real. Honestly, let's be real. This is the number one fear that I hear from people who are stuck in the binge restrict cycle. So maybe you've been told that healing your relationship with food means that you have to give up on your health and well-being goals, or that intuitive eating will lead to weight gain and loss of control around food again. Maybe a part of you worries that if you stop dieting, which of course is what I'm asking you to do. If you listen to past episodes with this podcast, you know that I am totally anti-diet, and I've explained the science behind it. So please go back and listen to prior episodes. I will be asking you to stop dieting. And a lot of you are saying, well, that's triggering fears that you're actually asking me to gain weight by practicing your methods and by practicing food freedom. And I hear you in that fear, because I was you. I really was. I thought that intuitive eating just meant having a free-for-all with food, eating what I wanted when I wanted, not thinking about nutrition or health or anything like that, and then so obviously I would gain weight. So that's why I didn't touch intuitive eating for a very long time, because I was misinformed. That's what we're going to chat about today. So I'm going to break down for you why another diet won't solve your problem with binge or emotional eating, and also why quitting diets doesn't mean that you're giving up on those health and well-being goals, and how you can absolutely still pursue health and well-being without having to fall back into restrictive diets. So let's get into it. Let's chat about why another diet isn't going to heal your relationship with food. Why another diet is not going to stop you from binge eating. Why another diet is not going to heal your emotional or overeating tendencies. And that is because if diets were the thing to solve that problem for you, then you would be there right now, wouldn't you? Because you've been on many diets, and so if they worked, you wouldn't be binge eating anymore. You'd be in your ideal body weight and everything would be fluffy and beautiful, right? But diets fail because they actually create the problem. They are the reason that you are binge eating, overeating, emotional eating. Restriction, whether that's physical restriction, i.e. not eating enough or adequately or with enough variation in your diet, or mental restriction, which is when we're placing like rules and morality on our food, that leads to deprivation, which then triggers your survival instincts to go and eat more. It's got absolutely nothing to do with you and your willpower, okay? It's literally your body trying to keep you alive when you gain weight. And the more that you try to control food with strict rules, the more out of control you're going to feel. And this cycle of restriction then leads to the binge, which then leads to the guilt. And it just keeps on repeating and repeating. It's a bloody vicious cycle. And it's really frustrating. And it has negative effects on your health, as you know, both physically and mentally. So that is why diets are not going to be the answer ever to you being able to stop binge eating for good and stop emotional eating and stop overeating. The diet is the problem, okay? So let's move on to the question then, can you still lose weight whilst going on a recovery journey with food? And this is a big one. So the truth is that your body will actually find its natural set point when you stop fighting it. So for some people that means that they will lose weight over time. Some people might stay roughly the same, and others might gain a little weight at first when they start allowing themselves to have their binge foods and habituate to them. But then that body weight will stabilize, and as you do things like practice the food freedom principles like gentle nutrition and eating until fullness, stopping when you're satisfied, eating mindfully, then that weight will slowly actually begin to fall away. But the key here is that any weight changes are going to be natural. So you're not forcing it with a diet. They're going to be sustainable and they're going to last long term. And you didn't have to do it through going on another shitty diet where you're absolutely miserable. You didn't have to have that weight rebound where, okay, you know, this is something I hear all the time, right? A client goes on keto. Well, we can use me as an example. I went on keto and it worked. I'm doing little bunny ears in the ear here. Keto worked for me. I went on keto probably like 5 times because I was so convinced that keto worked, because the other times when I had done it, I had lost 5 kgs in 10 days. So in my brain, keto worked. But it didn't work, did it? Because I always put that weight back on and doubled it. And so if keto had worked, I wouldn't have to have gone on it 5 times. You see what I'm saying? So intuitive eating and food freedom, it'll stop you from binge eating. You won't have that weight cycling, and it will work permanently. You will come to that place of either your body weight stabilizing and then slowly falling away until it finds that healthy, natural set point. So when you heal your binge eating and those episodes stop because you've stopped yo-yo dieting, a few important things will happen, okay? So number 1 is that you will stop that restrict binge cycle. So you're no longer going to be swinging between body extremes. Yeah, like I said, you might have lost 10 kgs on keto, but in 6 months you've put on 15 or 17 or something like that. So that stops. Your metabolism stabilizes because you're not constantly in semi-starvation mode. Your body isn't trying to fight you. The next one is that your body learns to trust that food is always going to be available. So your cravings for those binge foods will decrease because you know you can have a donut if you want a donut. Okay, so you're not becoming obsessed with donuts. You have the donut, you eat it, you don't feel guilty, you don't feel ashamed of yourself, and you don't eat 5 donuts because you know if you want another one later, you can have it. But you've learned to listen to your body, and you've learned to practice the principles of gentle nutrition where you know what foods feel good in your body, what fuels you, what sustains you, maybe what doesn't feel so good in your tummy. So you're probably not going to go and eat 5 donuts because you've reached that point of body respect where you'll have the donut, enjoy it, and then you're done, okay? And the last thing that will happen is that you're naturally going to gravitate towards more balanced and nourishing meals without obsession or guilt, which is essentially what I just said there. There will be a place in your diet for things like the donuts, but more often than not, you're going to choose foods that feel good in your body, that allow you to be able to partake in the activities of your most vibrant life. And the fact and the reality is, we know that if we eat carbonara every day for 10 days, you're probably going to feel like crap and you're not going to be able to have mental clarity or energy to be able to do the things you love. But when you practice food freedom, you're absolutely going to be eating carbonara, and you're just going to be eating it in a way that lets you have the things you love, but you're also fueling your body, and you're fueling it really well and with respect. So what I'm saying is, yes, if you want to lose weight and practice food freedom, those two things can definitely coexist together. And if you do lose weight, it's going to last. The thing is, just expect it to be a little bit slower than what you're used to when you go on these crash diets. You're not going to lose 10 kgs in 5 days, or whatever, you'll think about the diet that you claim to be is your most successful diet. Whatever achievement you got out of that, the thing that you keep clinging to in your mind, like, oh, but when I did keto, I lost 10 kgs in 5 days. That's not going to happen with food freedom, and I'm not promising you that. And in fact, I'm not promising you any facts or figures around how much you can lose in how many days, because your body is unique and it just ain't going to work like that. But I can promise that your body will find its natural set point, your weight will stabilize, your binge eating will stop, and so yes, over time, just more slowly, the weight's going to come down if there's weight to lose. So let's move on and chat about pursuing health without dieting. So diet culture does not like to talk about this, but you do not need to be on a diet to be healthy. So you can absolutely pursue your health and well-being goals without having to count your calories, without having to cut out the carbs, or without obsessing over the number on the scale or the size of your ass, okay? Instead of focusing on your weight, I want you to focus on how you feel and how you want to feel. Think about things like energy, digestion, sleep, mental clarity. These are all signs of a healthy body. Instead of exercise extremes, focus on things like joyful movement. Find ways to move that feel really good and not like a punishment. And finally, instead of focusing on what food is good and what food is bad, you're going to focus on balance. Again, like I said, all foods can fit. You can have the donut, you can have the carbonara, as long as you're eating them without guilt. And then you're going to be really surprised that when you take those binge foods off the pedestal, you're not going to crave them so much. Truly, I was shocked by this because, as you might have heard in other episodes, I have a chip obsession, or I did. And so I really truly thought that I was never going to get out of the chokehold of a bag of crisps. But I can turn them down now. I still have them, of course. I love chips, and I always will. But they definitely don't control me the way that they used to when I was on 2 or 3 bags of chips a day. So shifting your focus, from weight to true well-being, your body is naturally going to move towards its healthiest state. And it's not going to be forced, and it's not going to be stressful. It's going to feel really good, this process. And because it feels so good, you're not going to obsess over the speed that you're reaching these goals. I know one thing with dieting is you really want to lose as much weight as possible in the fastest time, right? And so I know it's a little challenging when you think about my program, Break Up with Binge Eating, that I'm telling you that, yeah, you can lose some weight for sure, but it's going to take time. And the really important thing we actually need to focus on first is ending the binge eating. And the only way you're going to be able to end binge eating is to stop dieting and to just put those weight loss goals on the back burner temporarily so that you can focus on that binge eating behavior. Okay, so how my program can help. I really want to talk about this because the doors are open for enrollment, and this only happens a couple of times a year. So they actually open up on Monday this week and they close next Sunday on April the 13th. So if you're listening before that date, you still have time to enroll and join us. What the heck is breakup with binge eating? So this is for you if you are trapped in that binge restrict cycle and you're ready for a proven, science-backed, step-by-step process to heal. I am a registered therapist. I also have lived experience with binge eating and totally recovering from binge eating. So I am most definitely the right person to support you through this. It's an 8-week group coaching program. It's totally online. You can join us from anywhere in the world, and it's designed to help you finally make peace with food and also your body as well. Because as you would have heard in other episodes, your relationship with the way that you look, your body image, is one of the reasons why you obviously keep going back to dieting. So we address that in the program. What do you get? So you get expert-led transformational video trainings with me. There's 8 modules, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how to stop binge and emotional eating, and you're going to do it without fear of weight gain. I'm going to give you practical tools to rewire your thoughts around food, to break free from that all or nothing mentality, and to build true food freedom. You also get support from a community of like-minded women who really, really get you. And that means that you don't have to do this alone. And the thing with binge eating is that it absolutely thrives because you are isolated. So you'll be part of the Binge Free Besties community, and we'll all be celebrating you on, we'll be supporting you, we'll be, answering any questions. I'll be there obviously as part of that too. But I think feeling like you have a sense of belonging and you're around other women who get it, like they're in the trenches too, and they want to make you accountable. Like, you will all be cheering each other on, but you'll also be like, hey, didn't see you in the forum today. How are you doing, girl? And that is powerful because sometimes when we're feeling a bit wobbly on our recovery journey, we just need to know that somebody else gives a shit. So that's what you get as part of our Binge Free Besties community. And then, of course, I've got heaps of bonuses in this round. I've actually got 5 bonuses, and they're worth 1,500 New Zealand dollars. So we've got a mindfulness and nervous reset library, which is full of videos of me where I'm guiding you things like breath work and emotional freedom technique tapping, which is one of my favorite strategies for healing. I've got the Food Freedom Vault, which is a recipe book that lines up with my food freedom method and just gives you ideas about what to eat and how to eat in a way that's nutritious and satisfying. You also get a body acceptance affirmation card deck that I made. It's super, super cute. And you get a private podcast as well. So if you're like, cool, program sounds awesome, but I ain't got time for that, I hear you, and I'm going to call you out because you do have time for this. So the video trainings, they're all 20 minutes or less, the videos within the modules, and I've made them available in audio format. So you can chuck them on when you're driving to work, or you're cooking, or you're out for your walk. So it's going to be really easy to do this training. Okay, and the last thing you get is your binge free handbook, which is like a grab and go guide. You get a chapter for each module, and it's got reflective exercises and journaling prompts and a bit more psychoeducation for those who like to really sink your teeth into the science and the nitty gritty. And this is a living document that's going to be tailored just for you. So as you go through the course, you'll pick and choose the things that you like, and you're going to put together a handbook that's going to be yours to keep forever and to continue to use throughout your healing journey, because your healing journey doesn't have a hard finish line on it. It's something that will go on forever, and you're always going to have this handbook to refer to, and you're actually going to have lifetime access to the whole course too. So if you ever get wobbly or you want to revise something, you can. So, it's not a diet, is it? This is about making real lasting change, and you're not ever going to have to start over ever again. This will be the last thing that you invest in for your health and wellness. Actually, that's not true. There's heaps of other things you might invest in for your health and wellness, but you're not going to spend money on another diet or a cleanse or a fat burning pill or an injection, or you're not going to throw out all the food in your cupboard and buy healthy foods only and then they all go rotten, so you have to go for another grocery shop. All of that is going to be over because this is a one-time investment. I've got payment plans as well to make it super accessible. So the doors are open right now, and as I said, they're closing on April 13th, so you're going to have to get in fast. I will close the doors if the spots fill up faster than that though, because I want to keep it small and intimate. So if you're ready, please come. You're so welcome. We would love to have you as part of our Binge Free Bestie community. And I'm going to guide you towards true health and confidence, and obviously to break up with binge eating. Just know that, my closing statement I want to go today was that you don't have to choose between healing your relationship with food and wanting to feel good in your body. You can have both. You can literally have your cake and eat it. And the way to get there is not through another damn diet. It is by breaking that binge restrict cycle for good. So if this resonated with you, would love to hear your thoughts. Send me a DM on Instagram at Binge Free Bestie, or share this with a woman in your life who might be interested in the program. This would just be the coolest thing to do with someone you love, like your mom, your sister, your cousin. Until next time, please take care and be super kind to yourself. You absolutely deserve that. Ciao for now. Hey besties, that is a wrap for this episode. If you're feeling fired up and you're ready to dive a little deeper, then let's chat about how you can keep that momentum going. First, you can find me on all your fave socials at Binge Free Bestie. You're going to get lots of daily inspo there, more strategies, and a healthy dose of body positivity. Then, if you want to start your food freedom journey, then you're going to need to grab my totally free guide, The Overeater's Fix. That is easy to find in my show notes. And finally, if this episode has inspired you to take the first step in healing your relationship with food and you're ready to break up with binge eating, then my online course is exactly where you need to be. It's a powerful blend of coaching with me, Nick, and a supportive Binge Free Bestie community, engaging discussion forums, transformative learning modules, and a mindfulness library that's packed with strategies to help you ditch dieting and embrace lasting food freedom. Next round is starting really soon, so if you don't want to miss out on that, then join the waitlist. Link is in the show notes. Okay, that's all from me today, but if this episode has been helpful, please hit follow. And if you're feeling extra kind, maybe consider leaving me a review on your fave platform. Please, please, please remember, you are so worthy of food freedom and body peace. Please take care of your beautiful self, and I'll catch you next time for another empowering episode. Ciao for now.